All right, I'm late to the party, but better late than never, right? Especially for an episode like this. So we're gonna watch SCL. I am back from New Jersey. I had a great time at my cousin's wedding, and it was beautiful, and it was awesome. It was fun. But now it's time to watch something that's probably not beautiful and awesome and fun, and that is the Inventory and Crafting SCL, where I am somewhat pre-watched here. But basically, Week in Review will not cover the whole thing, so we're gonna do our best to pause and cover every little aspect and give my thoughts on every little thing here. So yeah, let's waste no time and get right into it. Although I think Jared, as usual, will waste a ton of time at the beginning, like he always does.
Hi,
there
everybody.
it is.
Welcome to another episode of Star Citizen Live. And if you have any questions, Seb, that part doesn't go on YouTube. Just from here.
No, don't worry.
I'm gonna fix the chat on the screen.
Jared. And if you've never seen Star Citizen Live before, it's where normally I know my own name. They told me before I had to move my heartburn medication. It's like, don't tell people you have heartburn.
I told my brother that this is the most frustrating and annoying part of my J Omega Lol B job. That I every week have to watch this show and break down this show where this guy makes the same joke every single week and pretends like it's a brand new joke every single week. I forgot what day it is. I forgot my job. I forgot what the title is. I forgot what my name is. It's always the same joke. And I was like, this is what I have to do every single week. This is the why I am the way I am.
Still there.
Explaining that to my family.
It's about we're taking.
Meanwhile, they all have real jobs, and they're like, shut up, you whiny, like, please. Your job is so good. Stop complaining. And I was like, oh, yeah, you're right.
Yes. Play the title sequence. Play the title sequence one more time.
Need a do-over, Jared?
Go ahead. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Star Citizen Live. I'm your host, Jared Huckabee. If you've never seen Star Citizen Live before, it's where we take an hour out of our program.
I'm just checking how much time it is. It's an hour and 4 minutes. So the 4 minutes he's wasting here, we at least get back at some point.
Look, we put
it's such an important episode.
And we asked you for questions about inventory and crafting. And you guys came with questions about inventory crafting. And then these three guys, let's show them. They went through that thread and they picked 26 that they wanted to talk about today. They put them on a list. They made some notes. Some of us have the notes printed up, so make sure we don't forget stuff. And now we're here to talk to you and answer your questions. Joining us on the show this week.
How's the
Rick,
volume?
Tell everybody who you are and what you do.
Little low,
Hello,
it feels
I'm
like.
Rick Porter. I'm the design director at CIG. I work both on Star Citizen and Squadron 42.
That explains it.
Mostly lately I've been focusing on the design for Star Citizen and getting one release out after another.
Should be good now, right?
Yeah. 11 releases last year. Yeah.
Pretty proud of that, honestly.
All right, well, they've said nothing of value yet,
only
so we're
because-
good.
Only because you're next to him. I just, no. Because you don't bring me baked goods. Declan, tell everybody who you are and what you want to do.
Yeah, my name's Declan or Dec, system designer, so it involves helping design systems and then maintain them once they're out live, such as crafting. Yeah.
Which is one of the things we're talking
Which is
about.
very convenient for this show.
We didn't plan that at all.
No.
And Torsten, who are you and what do you do?
I'm Torsten, I'm his manager, and he's my manager.
It's appropriate that you're sitting in between us.
Yeah.
So you see the way the crap flows. So the subject of today's show is crafting and
Is Jared
inventory.
flying?
In our latest major release, 4.7.
Oh, there's the next
4.7.
joke. I don't know what patch it is joke.
Nobody nodded. They were just completely oblivious.
That's the previous one, yes.
Yeah, we introduced a first iteration of crafting to the Precision Universe, where we begin this long journey of putting greater agency and control of the player experience into the hands of those people who play the game, or don't play the game. They just watch the shows and make unfortunate comments.
I'm sure you think that's what I do.
Also, we updated crafting.
But unfortunately, I do play this game, and that's why I am the way
The
I
big
am.
interface update for crafting and whatnot. So, like I said, let's get the questions. Zerator says Jared. Yes, Zerator. You took up 5 lines in Twitch chat. I'll stop the whole show. What do you want? Yeah, it's going to be that kind of show. You didn't know this? You didn't know this by this point? It's going to be that kind of show. Nothing. Zerator is suspiciously quiet now. All right. So let's jump into the questions.
You can't call out somebody, ask them to say something, wait 3 seconds, and expect them to be able to deal with the Twitch chat delay, then type, then you see the message in the chat. So, yeah, I don't know. Like, this is a goofy thing to critique, but I don't know. If you're going to call people out, at least give them a chance to respond if you actually want them to respond.
These are in no particular order. Right off the bat,
and then ban them.
Be able to increase quality of a material. Now, this is a big thing because in 4.7, not just crafting come online, but a major change to all materials where now it's not just, hey, I'm grabbing iron and hey, I'm grabbing aluminum. I almost said aluminium because I've been here 4 years. Now that you have to search for varying qualities and get the best qualities and stuff. Will we be able to increase the quality of such material?
All right, I know the answer to this, but it's different than I thought the answer that I already knew because they told us that the answer to this one was yes. Torsten on SCL previously or in ISC, the response was, yes, you will be able to use refining to increase the quality of your material. Then we got this answer.
Yeah, start with a hot question. Current plan is no. You won't be able to increase the quality of the material, and there's a few aspects that go into that. Firstly, we would like rare materials and valuable materials to remain rare and valuable. Concern being that if I can take a large chunk of low quality, condense it into high quality, given enough time, players will have high quality everything.
Right, so this goes back to a answer the call that we did where Croncy mentioned the idea of like, hey, it would work really well if you just like exponentially needed more to get to 900 quality. Like I would need thousands and thousands upon thousands of low quality iron to get high quality iron, let's say, for example. But I think Declan is right in the sense of all MMOs at some point you end up hitting this like wall where you've done it all, you have it all, and all that stuff. And the probability of us hitting that quite quickly with a system where you could use refining to make things better, we probably would hit that wall, right? So, like, I think everybody, like, I see people are saying they're mad in the Twitch chat and stuff. I am not mad about this one, right? I think they are right, but there's more to it. It's not black and white. So let's keep listening.
And that greatly devalues the future play trading opportunities where we really want to see the scenario of a player finds a super high rare, high value ore deposit, and perhaps on their player base they've set up a shop, and then you have people coming to your shop and like buying from you, and you get to interact with them and so on. The second part is there is a need for the lower and mid quality to have greater value at the moment because it's bigger number is better.
Okay, before we get into that, let's go back to the last thing. We want you to be player trading. We want this super rare thing to be super rare. There's so much more to unpack here about that because the guy next to Declan talked about how crafting is our system of progression. And then you have Declan saying something like, well, we hope you randomly come across this high value thing and then you sell that stuff to other players. And okay, so then it's no longer rare and high value because all the people that find rare and high value things will sell them on the market, and then they'll no longer be rare and high value. They'll be easy to get. So it'll be rare and high value. I mean, at least they'll be high value. But they won't be rare or hard to find because somebody else will find them for you. You just pay them for that, right? And that's all fine. I think that's the okay part of the ecosystem that they're building. But when you talk about it as a progression system and the only real progression system in the game of like your highest quality ship is like you've hit the end game, your highest quality weapon, you've hit the end game of that feature. It's all RNG still. Like, we can't ignore that this is not a good feeling. It's weird. I can't describe how I feel about it because RNG with mining, or I should say scanning instead of mining, does not feel good. But RNG fighting the same boss over and over again in every other MMO that I played, hoping for the drop, feels bad in the moment, but when you get the drop, feels pretty good. So, is it just because scanning sucks? You know? Or am I just like an old MMO player that, you know, can't get away from can't have the high highs without the low lows? Agreed, but the high highs don't feel good with mining as they did with the killing a boss. Because there's so many more elements to killing the boss. Like, you have your skill check. Are my skills high enough? Do I have gear that's good enough? Did we work together to kill the boss? Scanning has no skill involved whatsoever. I think that's probably what it is, right?
Everyone's
Anyway,
searching
let's
for
move
high
on to the next
quality,
thing.
so to resolve this, our plan is with the refining updates that you will have 2 ingredients for when you're refining. One of them will be a primary, 2 or more, it could be 2 or more to be fair, 2 or more could be secondary, and the quality of the secondary determines how much of it you need, whereas the primary is the quality of the primary is used for the refined material. So if it's iron, we always go for the steel example. So if you're making steel,
Okay.
primary is iron, 750 quality iron makes 750 steel. Carbon, the quality is not too important. So you can get a massive amount of carbon, however much you need, of terrible quality, shove it in and get your steel.
So the value in the lower quality stuff will be in using it to get a greater quantity.
Not
No.
quantity, it's just for the secondary inputs, you need less of it if it's high quality, but you can still use any quality.
Okay.
So you can farm up loads and just shove it in as secondary.
So there's a purpose.
Jane VR, thank you for the raid. Sounds like the secondary mats are for people who want to strip mine everything. Not entirely. So my issue, this is totally fine. So if like Declan or Torsten or I forget the other guy's name, but I don't think he interacts with any Twitch streams or anything like that. If they're actually listening, I have no problem with this as a choice that they're making. This is totally fine. It does sound, though, and this is what I have the problem with, it does sound low that they think like this is the solution to the problem of I'm flying around and scanning and I see a 550 quality item thing and I look at that thing and I go, this fucking sucks, and I skip and I go to the next thing. This solves the problem of the fact that I am scanning a bunch of gems and only one of those gem nodes out of the entire node of 20 gems is worth mining. This doesn't solve that problem, right? This sort of solves that problem, but not quite. And that's the issue that I have. Once again, Raiders, thank you, welcome. I think I said it right away. Usually if I say it right away, you don't see it. So thank you for the raid, Jane, once again. But let's get back to the point here. Is it sounds like they believe this is like one of the only solutions to solve this problem. I can't stop saying it more and more and more. Without death, destruction, degradation, some sort of significant recycling of items in the game where they are destroyed or disappear or are lost or whatever, where I need more material, I need more items, it's going to be a situation, dismantling, whatever. You're going to run into an issue where this isn't enough, right? The refining situation isn't enough to make me want to strip mine everything. Every MMO I've ever played, when you come across a node of ore, you mine it. All of it. we have to get to that point. I don't know the best solution to get us there. I believe that is more like the Eve style. Destruction creates production, and then there's this whole loop, and they constantly feed each other, and it never ends, and the game lives for as long as it lives. That may not work for a game like Star Citizen. I don't know, right? So it doesn't need to be Eve, but it does need to make sense. And while this makes some sense, I don't think this is solving the root cause of the problem, which is I fly around and I am constantly skipping everything. And it will solve some of it, but will it solve enough of it? Number one remains to be seen. Let's see what happens when they put it in. Number two, I'm not entirely sure what insurance looks like. We're not entirely sure what degradation looks like yet.
For
right?
lower quality. And it's, to be very honest, it's something that we discuss a lot, actually discussed a lot, if we want to go down this road. And as Deck already described, one of the main reasons why we want to stick with this approach of you not being able to upgrade the materials is that we still want you to search for higher grades, that we don't want you to hoard lower grades, because at some point you will be able to upgrade. And for that reason, we came up with some solutions of making the lower quality actually worthwhile to holding onto them.
This is where like they're game designers. They understand this stuff. They know some, at least some player like mentalities of like, we don't want people to just hoard all this material just to make it better. But you're not. I don't recall through any part of this episode from when I've skimmed through it where they do give a reason to actually functionally use that material as like, for me, I can't stop hammering home the fact that we used to use 500 quality items every day and they were awesome. But now the mentality is completely changed from what we had before was totally fine and great to 550 quality stuff is shit. That doesn't make any sense. Right? So it's like a player mentality thing too. But it's their job to create and steer us in that right direction. And the refining thing is not enough. I think that your day-to-day gear should be 550, 600 to 700 quality stuff, because you're not going to care if you lose it. But man, when you're going into that big worm fight, you're bringing in the 900 quality stuff, right? Like that's what I'm thinking.
Especially then once we have the refining process in.
Yeah, and we want when you find those really...
We've got no loss yet. That'll change that mentality. I believe they address that later on in the show, and I don't think we're ever going to have real loss based on, the store mechanics that we're aware of and all those things. So I'll say this as well. If any of these devs are listening, except for maybe this one, because he seems to be like the high-level guy deciding, and then these guys do what he says potentially. And I don't know him very well, Rich Porter. So I don't know what exactly his role is and exactly like how much he decides. He does not play the game. You don't know that. You have no idea. You don't know the fucking guy. Neither do I. So instead of making claims about what he knows and what he doesn't know, I'll at least be a little bit more fair and say, I don't know him. I don't know anything about him. So I'm not going to give him a hard time necessarily. But I feel like the people that are on this show are handcuffed by 2012 ideas that don't make any sense, never made any sense then, and a pledge store that is being prioritized over a video game. And they have to try to make something work within that. And they're never going to succeed because it's an impossible task. So they're doing the best with what they got, and we'll see what happens. But I do think like the main design kind of sounds like it's coming from this guy, so we'll have to see.
High level ones, we want that to be exciting. We want that to feel like a moment. And if you could just get higher easy, you would dilute that experience.
Plus, it's good. It seems to me like you're finding a nice compromise here. Then between for the people who gather casually, there's a path, there's a useful for the stuff, for the lesser quality stuff they get. But for the people who dedicate themselves, like I am going to be a miner, that is my job. because you're going to keep those higher resources more valuable, that effort is going to be more rewarding to those people because they're going to be able to sell that stuff to.
Exactly, that is the point,
Yeah.
because with that we open up the opportunities for players to sell it, right? If every player is able to upgrade their materials, then like we swamp the market with a high quality.
Of course, that.
The root of the problem is scanning fucking sucks. Period. There's no addressing of that.
Relies on player trading, and
Yeah.
we've got to get there at some point. There's a question. We'll wait until we get to the question. I don't remember what number it was.
Yeah.
It's number 2. Player trading.
How convenient.
I lied when I said there's no rhyme or reason to this. I just forgot. Player trading is a much needed feature now that we have crafting. Any news on that?
Yes and no. It's something that's really important to me in particular. Like I got on stage at SitCon a couple years ago and talked about how important I think the player-driven economy can be, especially now that we're finally getting crafting out. Like if you can't do player trading, it's not what I want it to be. So going to get there as fast as possible. We've got to balance it against some other things like social features and so forth. But what we want to do is give players a space in the world, taking advantage of the trade centers that we already have in locations where you can go there and you can take anything in your local inventory and put it on the local net and pick your price and sell it for what you want. Or, what anybody else there that's done the same, you can buy their stuff and get what you need. So we have those actual in-world commercial centers. And then eventually we'll have player bases, base building, where you can do that locally and build your own town. So
I'm glad you mentioned.
I don't know how it's going to work, like with the city. I got absolutely nothing wrong with what's being said here. The main takeaway from this is that social tool stuff has to come first. The big thing is they do seem to be trying to make a viable reason for those TDDs at the cities, a real reason to go to a city, which is kind of cool. Maybe even a little choke point for pirates, like if Crusader or ArcCorp becomes like the main hub, because those are the two that are most likely to become the main hub since they're the closest to either the Nyx or the Pyro jump points. I think most likely Crusader would become the main hub. The idea here would be kind of cool. I like that, right? That's sick. The Nyx jump gate is temporary. Oh, I didn't realize that, because that was Magnus, right? That's right. I don't know where the next one is supposed to be, but regardless, maybe some specific hub because of geography becomes like the hub. That'll be cool. That might be cool for pirates and stuff as well. So there's like really nothing wrong with that. It'll get weird, I think, with base building, but outside of that, I have nothing really bad to say. Just make note of this in your mind. It is mentioned. There's no shot that it's being worked on because social tools have to come first.
Mentioned social right there. That is the precursor to this. The work that
and Jared touches
Benoit
on
and
it.
his
There you
team
go.
are doing on developing social tools, which I don't think anybody that's ever played Star Citizen for more than 5 minutes will argue is not incredibly important and incredibly
Yeah, of
needed.
course.
The work that they're doing on social lays the groundwork. It's a necessary foundation for then building player trading on top of that. You have to be able to effectively
Oh, that's right.
communicate
Nyx
to
is
people
not connected.
and
I
before
forgot.
you can start player trading. So the social
Thank you for
tools
the
are
reminder.
what their focus on is on right now. And
Yeah.
the new inventory has had a lot of the same problems that were seen with the old inventory, such as slow load times and poor quality images. Are there plans to resolve this?
Yes. So
I believe they also called it a front end rework, when the entire problem with the entire inventory has always been back end and not front end, I feel like.
All right, next
don't
question.
laugh. So for the images, there's a handful of initiatives underway. There's no anti-aliasing on the images, so that's one of the things we're going to look into adding. There is improvements to the framing. You'll see some things that see zoomed out, zoomed in compared to the box. There is lighting and shadows, and then for the responsiveness and the snappiness, it's work in progress. It is our desire to have it instant. So
I saw something. I'm in a number of chats where for visibility and something, and I saw there was a big conversation. They found a big cause, not the only cause, and there's never only one source for something, but they made a nice big leap in some discovery earlier this week, and I wish I could remember what the heck it was now before I opened my mouth. I just assumed I would remember by the time I got to the point, and I don't. But yeah, they are currently making progress.
Yeah, there's a lot of work into going to making the inventory the best we can.
Yeah. It's hard because it's like, I think Pete just saw me put my hand in my mouth. He's like, I got it before you put your light on. It's hard. It never quite seemed like it goes fast enough. Nothing ever goes as fast as we want it to.
Yeah.
But mining is currently quite tedious due to only wanting to search for high quality materials. Are there plans? We ended up going into this answer with the first answer.
And the other part of the answer to that is like the question is like, all I'm finding is boring stuff. Where's the excitement? It's like, we will balance that over time. If we're not, supplying enough for the players to like feel satisfaction in that process, if we're not supplying enough for the doing.
No, nobody will listen to this answer, but this is something that I've been trying to hammer home all the time. Is like when you're really upset about a feature and you really don't like it, can you like see the bones of it and see that it might have good bones, and all it needs is a bit of tweaking. Because if all it needs is a bit of tweaking, then we're okay. Now, does mining just need a little bit of tweaking? I would say yes and no. I think mining requires insurance to make sense, refining to be better, crafting to make sense, and to just come out, for him to come out and say, if it's not fun, we're going to listen, and we're going to get to the fun part. We're going to make it fun. That's awesome. Like, but nobody will listen to that. That's the problem with a lot of us is that we won't listen to it. I've been hammering that point home a lot. Is like, it's hard. Is it? Scanning is getting in the way a lot for this, because somebody earlier asked in the chat, like, what would you do differently? I think now is like the good time to talk about that, because they're talking about mining. What's the problem with scanning? Not a whole lot. The main problem is that there's a collection of like 5 to 20 rocks, if you're talking about like hand minables, on the surface of a planet, that all have to be scanned individually. And then when you break them, they break up into even more pieces, and those need to be scanned individually. There's no like bulk scan, like, you know what I mean? That's the main thing, is that it's just too tedious. So here's the problem with the question is they said mining is tedious. Mining itself is not tedious. Scanning is tedious. But mining equals just scanning now. That's all it is. Mining is scanning. And if they don't, as the devs, recognize that, that's really unfortunate. And unfortunately, that's what happened here. Well, unfortunately, that's what's about to happen here from Torsten. But Rick, I think, answers the question perfectly of like, hey, man, if we feel like we're not giving enough 900 quality stuff, if we feel like we're giving too much 200 quality stuff, which, by the way, look at Hathor, guys, please. What are you doing? Hathor should be like fucking Rockbreaker, or better, because Rockbreaker could be done individually. Hello? Wake up. Don't wake up. It's just you probably didn't get to it yet, but Hathor needs a nice fucking looking at, okay? Because the 200 quality Karenite is fucking stupid. Thank you very much. Let me get off my soapbox and hit the play button.
To have a good crafting environment, we will adjust the balance of what we think, gets to a good place for both the economy and to make sure that all the other game systems come together for, a fun environment.
That's
or
fair.
for that, we are even like monitoring all the rates that we see.
Did they increase it in the .1? I have not played since the .1 Hathor, so I might be wrong on that one, but oof, that one hurt.
See drop, so we are adjusting. So for every patch cycle, the numbers might change
Karenite's 501 minimum now? Oh, never mind. I take it back.
a bit, so that we're getting to a range where the material that the players will find is actually like meaningful and has a purpose for them. Yep. But I wouldn't call mining tedious.
See, like he says, I wouldn't call mining tedious, but let's go back to what they said before. I don't think that they're just talking about refining that Deck talked about either. I feel like they maybe have some other plans in mind for what maybe other ways that the material will be used. He does not mine at all. Okay, buddy. So like here's where I can't with you. Okay? You're wrong because he does mine. He has a group of friends that he mines with all the time. He does mine. He mines. So you're just lying. You're wrong. I know he does for a fact. So this is a situation where, like, I don't know Rick, I don't know Deck, but I do know Torsten. And I know he has a group of his German friends that he mines with. Because I joined them one time in a PTU while we were testing some mining changes a while back. Right? So when he says, I don't think mining is tedious, he's very German, right? German guys are very to the point and I think somewhat literal, right? In my experience with German guys. And the mining part is not tedious. I love the idea of keeping it in the green zone and using all the gadgets and all that and breaking multiple times and scooping. Everything about that is totally fine. So when he's taking offense to it almost because it's his thing, it's because the person asking the question is talking about scanning. They're not talking about mining. I did not call Germans boring. I just think that they're very to the point, right? And they said mining. I don't think mining is boring. I don't think it's tedious. I think it's fun. And most people also say that they like the mining. Did he get 1,200 quant to get a Polaris solo like I did? Bro, nobody cares. Shut up.
It depends. Not every game loop is.
In the end, he mines. He is not somebody you should be. What all I'm trying to explain, and why I'm telling you to shut up and just chill out, is because you are directing your anger at the wrong person. That's all I'm trying to say. You are absolutely directing your anger at the wrong person. You playing an alpha game, getting 1,200 quant by yourself, that is your own problem, and nobody needs. Like, you're the one who needs kind of help in that situation, right? The point I'm making is his experience is not equal to most players' experiences. No, your experience is not equal to most players' experiences. So stop talking about that. Do not direct your anger at Torsten, because I don't think it's the right place to direct your anger. But you do have the right to be angry. I'm just trying to get you to direct it to the right place, which is maybe the Rick guy, probably more like your Chris Roberts and your higher end, your Richard Tyrers and those guys. Those are the people who are supposed to take the heat. I don't think these guys are the ones who are supposed to take the heat. Right? So there's that. I'm just direct your anger in the right place. That's all. I'm not mad at you. I'm not trying to talk down to you or anything like that. Just, you're not directing your anger in the right place. That's all.
Going to be for every person, and we don't know the person who.
They all need to take the heat, dude. People that are being thrown on this show to take the bullets for people who actually make the decision do not deserve to take the heat. Sorry.
Who said this? For some people, it will be tedious.
End of story.
Yeah. But
it should also be exciting for the people that enjoy it.
Yeah.
No, if you don't want to make something that if you make something that's for everybody, it's a little too broad. Those too broad, it's a little too uninteresting and whatnot. You want to make something that's engaging, and some people are going to take to it, and some people are not. One of the things you said about we were going to continue to balance is, I think anybody that's followed the project long enough can attest that we continuously evolve. We put a thing out, and then we change it, and then we change it, and we get feedback, and we change it again, and we get feedback and change it. That's part of developing a game with an open environment like we do. Mining alone, since we're talking about mining, let's just use that.
I want to pause so bad and just always point out how fucking stupid this is. Like Jared saying this is the way it is, but it should just not be the way that it is. You know what I mean? Like, they should just kind of stuck with their guns, had a design, stuck with it, with slight changes. But the constantly, completely changing what Star Citizen is throughout its development is why we're 14 years without a game, why Squadron 42 is not released, and so on and so forth, right?
has evolved so much
but they
from
act
that
like
initial
it's
release.
they act like they're like doing the right things when they're not doing the right things at all.
Crafting will do the same.
They're just burning money.
And mining will continue to do the same and stuff like this. So I think that's been borne out over the years. So, is the purchase of materials of various qualities other than zero from in-game locations like mining outposts being considered?
Yes. So
I'm not sure I understood the question.
So at the moment when a shop sells a resource, I've wrote the answer and just stuck people's names on it. So.
Oh. That's actually funny, by the way. So he's the manager of him. He's the manager of him. He did all the work, and they're taking credit for it on the show, and he just threw him under the bus. Let's go down.
That's the secret. At the moment, shops sell resources at zero. Just
now, do you see what I'm talking about? Of where we should be pointing our anger here? How do you point it at the guy who's being told what to do?
Because that's default. Right. It's just a tech limitation.
That was never intended. It was,
exactly.
Yeah, it's just where we landed for the release.
They'll end up selling materials of quality. They won't sell the super high quality stuff. And equally, if you sell good quality to a shop, it'll pay more. But the best deal is probably going to be on the player trade market because that's where people have the most money.
Yeah. We'll have a market with multiple quality values. You'll be able to go there and pay more for higher quality and less for lower quality. And the same vice versa. If you want to sell your own stuff, you'll get more for higher quality and less for lower quality.
This makes me want to fucking punch my chair. This is what makes me want to punch my chair. This is where I don't think they actually have any understanding of what they're making on a grand scheme. Okay? Because now you have NPCs selling low quality stuff. Players, myself included, would take the least the path of least resistance. Okay? So if their idea is, okay, buddy, Mike, we're going to use the steel example. You want to get really high quality steel? All right, go find your 900 plus quality iron and then get whatever quality carbon that you need to make that steel. Where am I going to get that carbon? You really fucking think I'm going to go mine that carbon? No, I'm going to go to an NPC and buy it in 2 seconds and be done and not go through the scanning and the looking and all that stuff. So now you are completely undermining the only system that you had to maintain us using high quality stuff. So now we're just going to go buy it from NPCs. Like, that's where I'm like, do you actually know what you're doing? These are the moments where I'm like, are you sure you know what you're doing? Because you do appear to be contradicting yourself a lot in this episode of like, you have paper napkin the fuck out of this. And that's where we're at, right? I'm not in a good mood. Oh man, I find this to be so fun. I'm in a great mood. Having these game design discussions of like, do they know what they're doing? Is it going to be fun? What do you guys think? Like, I look at this and go, this doesn't sound like a good idea. And this is why. And we'll see what, no matter what, they're going to go with it. We have to see what happens. Now, here's the best way of going about this. If they're going to do it, just don't have them have a ton of quantity of it, you know? That's what I was thinking. So what Lustus just said in chat, other MMOs like Final Fantasy allow you to sell high quality goods to NPCs for a lower price, but you can buy them back from NPCs. Maybe they'll do something like that. It's weird because they didn't, like, they kind of glossed out, like, you could sell to them, but they also said that these NPCs will not sell high quality materials. So like, what happens when I sell them a 997 iron? Are they going to resell that 997 iron? I believe that they should, but because then you did get it from a player, right? If it just disappears, that's interesting and weird. So yeah, like there's a lot of moving parts here. I'm not sitting here saying that I can paper napkin a better idea, but I am going to point out like a very obvious flaw that I think is very obvious. Because it really just comes down to the only situation that they have to solve the I came across 550 quality iron, why should I mine it? Is this refining idea. But if I can buy the low quality stuff from an NPC, which is much easier because I go directly to it. I don't have to search. I don't have to go through scanning. I don't have to mine it. I don't have to break up 15 times, put it in my ship. Then I don't have to refine it. Like, think about all the steps it takes to mine versus going to an NPC and buying it. If the prices are somewhat reasonable, that's going to be the way to go about it. So they really have to keep that in mind when doing this, if they plan on doing it.
That's
all.
Absolutely the design, and we'll get there.
Mike assumes that the NPCs will always have what he needs in stock. Yes, I do assume that, because there's going to be thousands of NPC locations across all the planets. What I don't know about, but I am assuming that maybe I shouldn't assume this, is that I will have a quantum marker to all 3,000 of those locations, which I probably won't, right? Have I ever done commodity trading? Sure. Do you really think that the current dog shit commodity trading system is what's going to stick around? And obviously the NPCs run out, and I did mention that, like, the best way to do this is to make sure that they don't have a lot. But have I done commodity trading with Starchitect? Nobody has yet. So if there are endless NPCs with, tons of material, or the same amounts of material that we see in the current game, they'll never run out, guys. And if you have an app that you could see who has what stock and where, they'll never run out. So it really just comes down to a number of other factors, right? We'll have to see.
Just couldn't get their last release.
But what Dex said is that, and I want to highlight that, is that we really want to have player trading standing out in comparison to trading with NPCs.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure that, sure, you will be finding like different qualities from NPC traders, but your source should be, or we want to encourage you to actually trade with players there.
And that's the important thing is their goal they set out is to make sure that player trading is the main focus. How they go about it, they don't say. So we'll have to see. Maybe it's a very limited stock. Maybe it's very low quality. I don't know. Whatever they do, they have their high-level goal. And then when we give feedback, we let them know if they're achieving that goal for us or not. And that's it, right? That's all we can do. I don't know if they'll achieve that goal based off of the system because of exactly what I just said. Think of the process of mining, which Torsten said is not tedious, but when it's described, it is tedious in comparison to buying the commodity from an NPC. It just is.
And eventually it'll all be tied together. Like whenever a player's
this is cool though what he's about to say.
Player will be tracking that and adding it to the overall simulation. We've talked about having StarSim, the simulation that knows everything that the players are doing, plus all the things that we're expecting the NPCs to doing, so that when players buying stuff for one price, that is reflected in the NPC prices as well.
Yeah. So instead of the NPCs determining the prices, players determine the prices. That is huge. No, for the guy who says Tony Z lives on, they just murdered him. They just completely murdered him. And anything that was mentioned before. So if you were sitting here waiting for quantum, that basically just killed it. What he just said there, in my opinion. Literally rip bozo. It was a terrible idea, I thought, in the first place. So I am actually very happy with this. I did see lots of people who were not happy with this, and I understand why, because I have played games where economies get broken. I will probably be eating my words because, the idea, like, I feel like this may or may not work with how spread out we might be across different servers. It would work really, really well, the idea of, like, the NPCs basing their prices off of player prices. Because I've talked a lot about over the recent months and stuff about the economy team seems pretty ignorant to the fact that they seem to want to control everything and get their stinky little fingers all over everything, that they will be able to react as quickly as we can as players. And we have shown through UEX that they cannot. They can't even remotely. They are the turtle, we are the hare, but they're not winning the race ever. They will never win this race, right? We're literally Usain Bolt, and they're I don't know, me. I'm not a fast runner. So yeah, it will never happen. Or I guess I should say the players are Usain Bolt, and then the economy team runs as fast as I do. But yeah, so this allows NPCs to react quicker to player behavior. So that's really good. But we'll have to see. Again, I could be totally eating my words here, and this could fall flat on its face, but for many reasons. But I think it's a better solution than the dumb Tony Z idea that was very much a 2014 idea that doesn't make sense today.
So I lost it. I lost it from the chat. There was a question from the chat.
Welcome back. Thank you. Glad to be back.
We just put out crafting. We just put out the first version of crafting. How are you guys feeling about it right now?
Deck did a really good job there. he pulled all.
See, like, these guys didn't do shit. It's so funny how they're like, why are we on this show, man? We didn't do anything. This guy did everything.
All the things together and motivated the teams working on it. So definitely kudos to Deck.
Yeah, like, even I will just say that, like, I PM'd or DM'd Torsten and just said, great job. It was really, really good. And he immediately was like, it was, Deck did a great job. He didn't say anything else other than that. Torsten keeps everything very close to his vest, but he immediately was like, Declan did a great job. I'm not taking any credit.
We asked Deck to do a lot at the last minute.
I'm just sure they're giving credit. My management would never. Yeah, like, even in private messages, like, instead of just saying thank you, like, he didn't even say thank you. I think he just straight up gave the credit to Declan. And again, it's got really good bones. I feel like it's got really, really good bones.
But like, the whole team came together. Like,
For sure.
Yeah, like,
it just needs help, man.
It's the first.
I'm just afraid it's not going to get that help.
Step. Like, there's a lot more that we want to do with crafting, but just getting that first tier of crafting out felt really good. It's that first step, that we needed to take to get it into players' hands to start iterating on it, and we've got a long ways to go. But there's a lot of cool features coming, and
it was nice seeing, like, the app.
We should just replay that on a loop. Anytime anybody's upset, we should just replay that on a loop. Now, where we need to hold their feet to the fire is, iteration means every fucking patch you iterate on this stuff, right? And CIG doesn't do that. So for me, this is my insanity. Like the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. I hear them say it's just the first step, we're going to iterate on it. And every single time, I think they're going to actually iterate on it, and they never do, right? Now, apparently, they do in 4.8. There's we'll hear more about that later in the show. Like, we are 15 minutes in, and this is already a 50-minute react.
Of feedback. You saw...
I'm gonna hit play.
X, Y, Z to be improved. You saw people...
I'm going to hit pause. But in the end, like, they didn't even announce it in the patch video that it was crafting, like a crafting thing, right? They didn't. It's straight up just like, we're just gathering feedback right now. Like, if we are freaking out about crafting now, like, just take a chill pill, chill out. First step, look at it. Does it feel like it has good bones? I'm going out mining more than I ever have before, as much as I fucking hate it, but it feels really good when I craft a cool item. Sounds good to me, right? Cool. That's good. How do we make it better?
or crafting guns that were 9-inch quality.
Excuse
and
me.
then there was a helmet that was bugged that I had to fix, which I was a bit
Oh,
annoyed
the
about.
invincible helmet,
think
yes.
that-
It was very nice to see go out.
It even helped internally because the people working on it were all motivated to get this feature in a really good quality because they themselves are either a fan of crafting or are really like fan of tying things together in our game. So that definitely helped a lot.
Yeah.
Now, of course, there are people who are going to have dissenting opinions. They're obviously always going to be someone who doesn't like how mining works or how crafting works or how whatever. What would you say to people who just wash their hands of the entire system right now? Just, I don't like any of this. I wish you'd made Star Wars Galaxies. Just make Star Wars.
I mean, didn't they kind of just make Star Wars Galaxies anyway, sort of? But I think my answer would be like it's not even in yet, dude. Like all you're doing is crafting tiny little things. No, there's nothing here.
Galaxies, please.
I think it's
Ahazi. Ahazi. Shout out to Ahazi.
I think it's pretty early to wipe your hands of it. Like we've got a long ways to go, both in crafting itself and the other features that are going to support crafting. Yeah, it's too early to tell, I would say. This is absolutely just our first step out the door. And while it's really cool to see what players can already do with it, we're far from done.
We did really.
Yeah, again, like I am very much I am very much of the opinion that the way they're doing things now is so much better than the way they did things before. I mean, guys, I sat through 2016 and 2017 where we didn't have a patch for an entire year because they were trying to make everything, this is what the patch needs to have in it, and it was too many things. Just boom, 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 like iterate. There's nothing wrong. I love that.
A crafting guide alongside, and the crafting guide had a
I love the
wonderful
way they're
section
doing
at the
it now.
bottom, not just dedicated to everything that was in this one, but a look to a whole lot of things that are already in development for the future. I mean, it's not even everything. There were a couple of things. Anything that was like, well, we might whatever. We struck them out. We stuck with a pretty short list of the things that we were pretty confident on, and it's an impressive list of stuff coming. If you haven't seen the crafting guide and checked out the section at the bottom of where crafting is going, I would suggest you check it out. There's some good stuff in there.
Good job writing that deck.
Declan wrote the whole post too. Okay, so again, what the hell did these guys even do? What do you guys even do?
At the 11th hour, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
No, we
Used
were
in that review.
So this crafting.
Next time Torsten comes to this chat, we have to ask what he even does.
Then there's inventory. Now, one of the
Classic
obviously we put
managers,
this new
right?
inventory front end on, but one of the big issues that the crafting update made was
Do less,
all
get paid
the
more.
material updates made the and all the qualities of all the materials of different quality have basically put a whole lot of stuff in players' inventories now. How are we addressing this?
There's a couple of things in the work for the quality itself, which will help with the bloats. And then, as you mentioned, the crafting guide, there's some inventory adjustments and management tools. The first one is kind of like a folder structure. So if you have 20 variants of copper, they'll be inside a folder. You'll click the folder and then you'll see your 20. So as you're scrolling
I
through
think
the
that's
freight
gonna
elevator,
work
your
well.
inventory, it'll look much cleaner until you want to dive in and see all the details. The second one is merging and splitting. So merging, people have like half-empty boxes they're hauling all over the place. They would, if they're low quality or you're not too bothered to keeping them separate, you could just stick them all together. The quality would average out based on the SCU weights. And then splitting is kind of the obvious opposite, where you take part of a box and turn it into two boxes, and that's crucial for player trading, right? You don't want to put all your high quality up for sale. You want to take half of it and put it up for sale, or maybe you want to share it, but sell it.
So this is more about like
Nothing to
if
add
you
there.
have a 60
Seems fine.
SCU crate, you convert it into 2 8 SCU crates, or like into several 1 SCU crates. So you basically split up the volume into smaller chunks. So the in comparison to the merging, this will leave the quality unaffected, right? So just create new containers holding the same material.
And I'm going to ask the question that chat is going to be asking right now, and you don't have to look at it.
I don't remember this.
Why wasn't something like that in the first release then? If you know you're going to flood the inventory system with all these new materials, with all these varying qualities, why wasn't
because they don't need to know
stuff like that?
They don't need that to know the information that they're looking for yet.
We have to release at some point, don't we?
Yeah. How long do we want to wait on release for all the features that we have planned? If we waited on every little feature that we want to have be part of the system, like it would take us so much longer to get anything out into players' hands, and it would just slow down the iteration overall.
Yeah, back to 6 months waiting for the next patch.
Yeah, we don't want that.
It's hard. It's hard because if we waited for everything, we'd never release anything. That's just, there's a reason why some games go, 6 months between major releases or even longer and stuff. They go completely quiet. We are putting new stuff out almost every 2 weeks at this point. Now, and it's like this, it's because we get feedback on the stuff we have. It's like we need that feedback on the stuff we have. We need that testing on the stuff that we have, because we might learn something about the stuff we have that directly affects the stuff that we're waiting for. And better to know that while we're still working.
We're so lucky, guys. Like, I know that's a sarcastic statement. We're not, right? But you got to just look back to what they used to do versus what they're doing now. This is just better. We're not lucky in any way. We still deal with so much of this kind of marketing garbage, sell spaceships. That's all we really care about.
Working on this, then finish this and go, oh, I wish I'd known this earlier. If only I'd put what we had out earlier, that information could have informed this. There's a whole lot of reasons why we operate a live environment in the middle of our game development. It's beneficial in a lot of ways, and it's annoying. and you should look at me like it is. It is annoying to have to put out a feature and that it needs merging and splitting. It's just not ready.
I'll never be happy with any feature we put out. It'll never be complete. It'll be as good as I can get in the time and resources that I have. That's me being a perfectionist. That's nothing against the game.
Yeah. Well, now it's going to be a meme on Reddit.
Yeah, well.
It'll be a nice square picture of Rick Porter that says, "I'll never be happy with anything I release."
That's sure. It's truth. I'll take it.
How?
As me being a perfectionist, that's not.
It will never be complete. Would be the meme.
So what's the plan? I skipped way ahead. So what's the plan for crafting large items that obviously won't fit in the current fabricator?
It goes into the freight elevator.
So with the current fabricator, we had a specific format that we were going for. That's our first version. In the future, we're going to have the ability to craft directly into local storage with that initial fabricator, so that you'll have options to craft larger items in the near future.
Fernando Sigmalaza says this waiting for feedback is just a scapegoat. They need to do a complete design and to put it out instead of just wing it and wait for players to give feedback. I somewhat agree with that, but the problem with them is their designs are terrible. So I don't know. I don't think that they've ever put out something designed that we didn't completely undermine within 15 minutes of it being out. So
future. And then longer term with base building, we'll have hangar crafting, and we'll have intermediate steps in ship crafting as well as locations. So there's lots planned to expand your options of size in crafting. Yeah.
Crafting into the local inventory is one of those things that we're listed on that.
Yeah, and crafting local inventory is more of a stopgap until we can bring those other features into the game. So I don't think that'll be a permanent solution, but it'll be a way for us to start iterating on our larger crafting before we have those other features available.
Hey, Torsten.
To play devil's advocate, the community also wants 10 totally different things depending on who you ask. I mean, that's partly why I agree with Fernando, is that they need to just stick to one thing, right? They need to design their game and make it, but they don't do that, and that's why we're 14 years and no game and $1 billion lit on fire.
Will mining modules and gadgets ever be craftable?
Yes, like most of or a lot of items that we will have, or we already have in our game, all of them will be craftable at some point.
This is probably my favorite
we will
thing.
make sure that most of the items, or actually every item that is craftable, actually
I think I
is
scared the
affected
dog.
by the quality of the materials that you use for it, so that there is a meaningful reason for you actually to craft those items. And for 4.8, we are already like expanding our catalog of craftable items. So we are expanding it to ship components, and those will also be affected by the stat improvements that you get from the quality. So you will be able to craft, correct me if I'm wrong, Dick, but power plants, coolers, life support generator?
No life support generator.
We didn't. Yeah.
No.
So what did we? Weapons.
Weapons.
Weapons we did agree on. Shield generators.
Shield generators are there.
Yeah. What am I missing? Am I missing something?
There's
Quantum.
The modules, the subcomponents for the salvage heads, mining heads, refueling.
The refueling one's an interesting one. We probably won't get stats for that, but we will have them because there are some refueling changes. There will be some craftable refueling elements.
Yeah.
So they changed the refueling even more.
Expanding our catalog.
I'm going to roll you back about the statement, all of the items will be craftable.
That room seems tense. Which one? The one that I'm in, or like this doesn't seem tense at all? I don't know.
I want to say most of the items.
Yeah, most of the. Did I say all?
You said all. You said all. But I know it's somewhere there's going to be some limited edition Vandal Cupid doll or something that we give out.
They all seem like buddies hanging out
thing or whatever, and somebody's like, "No, that was the only time you get that," or whatever. You know.
No, so it'll be very, very clear. So it's most of the items, not all of the items. That was a
things that affect gameplay. I think we can. I think we can probably commit to the things that affect gameplay.
That's absolutely the intent. Yeah. Like anything that affects gameplay that you would want to progress through the game. We want that to be craftable.
If you let me convert a Pico doll into a melee weapon, I can bludgeon people with, and now you got to make.
I'm sure
April Fool's joke. That's a perfect April Fool's joke, I think. Like April Fool's weapons.
Is there going to be a way to track what blueprints we have other than looking at the fabricator screen?
Pico bomb? Yeah.
We're going to be adding an app to the MobiGlass so that you'll be able to see and manage all of your blueprints that you've collected, not only ones you've collected, but the ones that you could collect and the ones you can upgrade.
Just before you get excited by this, just remember what all of the UI that they currently have made looks like. And calm your excitement.
And like it'll be a full-featured app. It'll probably come out after we get the upgrading in place. So it's more of a future effort, but it's definitely something.
It sounds like way too far away.
Just for blueprints.
Yes.
Yeah, it's again one of those things called out in the crafting guide that went live with a whole host of things that we're working towards. So I want to point that out because there are a number of the questions that we received in the thread were all questions. A number of the questions that we had were questions that had answers already published on the day that the crafting went live.
Yep.
So I want to encourage people to check out that crafting guide available on robertspaceindustries.com. You click a thing at the top and then you click another thing.
Chris Roberts is a hologram maxer.
And then it's in there somewhere. So we got crafting weapons. A lot of the stuff that we're crafting this first thing is FPS related. Will we be able to craft weapon attachments that have different stats from their lootable counterparts?
Yes. So exactly like like picking up on the answer from the mining gadgets, it's like most of the items or a lot of the items that we have will be craftable. That includes also the attachments for weapons.
I hate this, by the way.
That means, though, that the attachments that we find right now in the dungeons, they were already a good test bed for us because we used them back in the day to test. Actually, that was the first predecessor of our crafting efforts there, where we could try out, okay, what happens when we improve the stats on certain components and how does that affect the gameplay. And now that we have proven that, we can actually dial back a bit there. So it's still debatable of how much we want to dial back, if we even want to dial back, but crafting will.
That's very important to what we hear. It's very debatable how much we want to dial back, if we want to dial back, so on and so forth about some of these things. But that's not about whether or not they want those items like a tweaker or a scorched attachment to remain lootable only. They want it to be craftable. And I can't say this enough. Anybody who's ever played an MMO before in their life knows that you craft items and you find items. Usually those items are like uniquely named items that are special and unique and have stats that you can't get anywhere else. The only situation in which we have that in Star Citizen is like the tweaker attachment. So you craft a gun and then you find the tweaker or the scorched or whatever, right? And like Crimson Desert, like literally every video game ever. So when these guys go, well, we want everything to be craftable or almost everything to be craftable, I really want them to like pump the brakes there a little bit. And like it is really special, really fun, really enjoyable when when you combine your crafted gear with gear that you found in the real world. So like when you're like min-maxing stats, you know that chest piece that drops from Xenothreat combined with your crafted arms, combined with those legs that drop at the worm, with the gun that you crafted with the attachment that you found in the CZ is like perfect, right? And there's that other thing where I see the big Sklayets. I'm butchering the name, but says it will kill like dungeon grinds. Yeah, it kind of will, I think, and they do touch on something that will help the dungeon grind later. But if everything is about material, it's going to be a tough one, man. I love the idea of, and I've mentioned this a few times in the last couple of months, that players who don't like the craft don't have to craft. And the current way that they're doing things is every player will likely have the blueprints that they want very easily. And all they need to do is buy the material from somebody. And that devalues the person who has no desire to craft at all and just wants to like run bunkers all the time, right? Well, if you ran bunkers and there were a few unique, very special items that are a part of some meta that people use to, let's say, kill the Yormandi, for example, then that gives value to what that person is doing. And when they do these overall grand designs, I really hope that they're thinking about things like that, where every aspect of this game has to provide value to the player, and that value has to feel really equal. I don't know if anybody is watching that's still like currently. I know it's like more of my early morning EU kind of viewers. EVE Online does a great job of this, where like there is variation on how much you make per hour in every career-ish type in EVE Online, but EVE Online is really, really strong at making every viable career feel about equal in the time investment versus your return. It's really nice. And I don't think Star Citizen sounds like they are succeeding at that with some of the discussions that we're having today.
Definitely then also be a meaningful way
so I hope
of
they really
having
consider
components for your weapons that then affect the functionality of those.
So this answer really bothered me.
All of crafting
I hated
starts
it.
with a blueprint. You know, these are the things that determine what you can craft and whatnot. How many blueprints? Not exact number. How many blueprints would you say that we added in 4.7?
There's probably websites that have data mined it, so I'm going to get this wrong. But I think there was...
Promised me at least 300, but I know you exceeded that by a lot.
There was about 300 and something in missions, and then there was roughly about 1,000 that didn't manage to make it into missions, which were like tint variants.
Yep. And I know there are some still coming online. Next week we release 472.
Custodian
with a
and
bunch
P8SC.
of new missions for Nix.
Blueprints.
And some of those
Here we
missions
go.
reward new unique blueprints that aren't in the system right now. So some of those
Exciting.
blueprints that are in the 4.7 branch don't even come online until next week when 4.7.2 comes online.
Yeah, we'll be adding blueprints pretty much constantly.
Well, it's a neat reward because now you can conceivably add. Let's talk about how people get blueprints. How do you get blueprints right now?
At the moment, it's just missions. The plan is reputation. So when you reach a reputation milestone, you can get a blueprint. Data pads is a big one, so it will be a data pad that has a blueprint on it, and then you can download it, and that's a one-time download. Or you could
sell it to
someone else, gift it if you want to.
So just to add on that,
Stuff we already knew
physical
about.
data that
Yes.
you can find.
Yeah.
So it's something that we can place in inventories, that we can place in in armor pieces from NPCs. So something that you can physically pick up.
Treasure hunters, a whole new treasure hunter profession of people who go out there and do contested zones and everything and collect blueprints to sell to other people.
Yeah, but as Dick already stated, important note there is they are one-time use. So once they are consumed, the blueprint is then imprinted to whoever used the data pad. So it's, if you already if you already got the blueprint on the data pad, make sure that you make some money out of it, I would say.
There's also NPC shops, so more common stuff that we're not too bothered about there being an adventure to go and find, like a decoration. You could buy that blueprint in an NPC shop.
Yeah, okay.
Would you ever? Would there ever?
Does anyone have issues with that? Like I'm totally fine with like the P4AR, a lot of basic stuff to be sold in an NPC shop. I'm totally fine with stuff like maybe like ammo BPs, especially if they don't require God, my brain just completely froze. Quality. There you go.
Would you ever consider a method of learning how?
I mean, yeah, this is huge. What T-Jailer just wrote: org killing Apex Valakar equals 1 blueprint / data pad. That completely solves the problem of org makes a big party, does all the missions, gets all the blueprints, right? P4 isn't basic. It's just old. It's the better weapon, in my opinion. It is not a good weapon in comparison to most of the weapons in the blueprints, but it might be your favorite. I'm not going to knock you on that, but it is not a good weapon.
To reverse engineer a blueprint from
It's not in the meta at all.
I mean, if you dismantled 500 of the exact same gun, you probably figured out how to make it at this point.
There's no plan for that, but part of the upgrading, like learning the next tier of a blueprint, could include missions where you needed to do something like that. We definitely have been talking about that kind of process. It's one of the 2 or 3 main ways of like learning how to upgrade your blueprints that we've talked about.
Yeah, we called it research in the CitizenCon presentation, where we also have like other steps that you need to take to be able to figure out how to reach the next tier of the item that you own.
Yeah, we'll see with the tiers of blueprints. I don't want to think much about that. I feel like we're very far away from that still.
Research a little bit because that we touched on it during the crafting guide. I've mentioned now more times than I intended, but give me a little primer. Give me a short nickel version of what research is.
So items have different tiers. Default blueprint you get is tier 1. And then you could research it to tier 2. And tier 2 will require different materials. It'll have access to a different banding of stats, which are higher than tier 1.
Oh, this is
and
weird.
In order to get to that tier 2, you have to complete the research task, which we kind of just alluded to would be do X, Y, Z, initiate your research. Once it's done, you've got access to tier 2. And then you can go to tier 3 for most items, and then ships go up to tier 5.
And the virtue of the different tiers is probably depending on the item. I'm trying to remember what the virtue. We had a long conversation about the virtue of the tiers.
Yeah.
What's the virtue of it having a tier 3 version of a rifle versus a tier 1?
Well, the main benefit.
There's another question on the list that alludes to this, but
let's do it now.
Yeah. Well, one of the things is that not only can you get more stats, but you can get more options. So there'll be a material that you can have either different types of or different qualities of that will provide a trade-off between a buff and a debuff. So you can really lean into one stat that you really like if you want to.
So not only the stats will get generally better.
That was such a weird, vague answer. So I'm not really 100% sure, because when he said different material, like he looked over at deck, like there's something special that we don't know about yet on this front, is what it seemed like. He kind of looked like Sly over at deck, like we know something they don't know. And then Torsten's jumping in and just saying something along the lines of what he's about to say, because I haven't.
If you increase the tiers, but in the highest tier and in the highest tiers, you will even be able to affect or focus on a certain stat, with the downside of affecting another stat in the negative.
So like when they let us hyper focus, then we start having the negative effect. When a lot of people called out I don't really like that we have no negative effects in the base material stuff, like the tier 1 quality.
Way.
Okay.
I'm going to close the door. My wife just got home. She's in the kitchen.
You've done your GED, and now you're focusing on a specific area, and you focus on your English degree, and you forget how to do long-form division, which is what happened to me.
I'm assuming you can't hear all the banging and stuff, but
Chris
I always
is really
interested
in that kind of trade-off between a buff and a plus and a minus when you're crafting, having that choice.
See, like here again, like, do we even blame the manager of the developer in the scenario when he goes, I know Chris really likes this idea? So like it still comes down to him too. That's why like it's really hard to get upset about any of the people that come on camera. The people who don't come on camera, your Rich Tyrer, who does come on camera sometimes, but your Rich Tyrers, your Aaron Roberts, your Chris Roberts, maybe even to some extent your Sandy Roberts or whoever's on the board, like the grand schemers, they never show up on camera. And then these guys all have to wear bulletproof vests because we get so upset because we're thousands of dollars and hundreds of years into this game's development, and we just want to play something fun and we don't have it yet. And then these poor guys have to deal with it. It sucks. But I like the negatives and positives. I'm just surprised that we didn't have them in the initial level and in the initial build. It was kind of surprising that it was just only positive. I personally don't like that. I would love if we chose different materials and got different stats on even at the base level. That's my preference, but who knows where we're gonna go in the long term.
Even though we're planning to do that definitely for the higher tiers, since we want to start iterating on that earlier, we're going to try and come up with some examples of that before we get to the actual upgrading.
I'm volunteering you for work.
I've already been told.
Yeah, this is so funny.
Why are
dude.
armor and weapon skins separate blueprints? Wouldn't it be better to have them work like ship paints?
It would. It really would. Yeah.
Next question.
No, so it's a tech limitation at the moment where if we want a red version of a blue helmet, we've got to make a new entity, and the red is like bound to that entity, and so in order to craft that red helmet, you need a blueprint for that red one specifically.
I've said this many times. This is where SaltEMike, the name, was born. When they started selling armor paints, weapon paints, and all this stuff, I started saying, and them being different unique entities, the ships like the Saber Comet, all that stuff, like 2015, 2016, this is where I was born. This is my origin story of getting super pissed off and pointing out the most obvious dumb logic that existed in this game that they need to address immediately, because if they don't address it immediately, then this poor fucking guy has to make 60,000 blueprints for a P4AR. And it takes 2 months to get a decent fucking crafting build instead of what should have taken 2 fucking minutes. But I got so much shit. back then. I don't get as much shit anymore about this kind of stuff because people see the actual results. But that was when I started being like, bro, I know I'm not a game developer, but this doesn't make any sense. This doesn't make any sense, guys.
That's not the long-term goal. The long-term goal is a paint-like system, but just the paints aren't physical. So it's
and then they keep saying this, long-term goal. Yet you keep slowing your development down by not actually working on the long-term goal. Star Citizen in a fucking nutshell, right here, right now, right in front of your face.
Like in a very British way, it's a digital license to apply the paint.
It's a nice way to work into that. They tax you if you want to watch TV here.
They do.
Can you guys explain this to me? I heard this. I was like, what?
You don't just get to watch TV. Just buying a TV doesn't mean you get to watch TV here. Uh-huh. You own a TV, but you don't get to watch it unless you pay the government a tax.
And they send you nasty letters if you don't pay.
They do.
Yeah, but they don't even chase you up. They don't even know your name. They're like, resident, we will come for you. I'm like, you don't even know my name.
I've got a stack of those letters.
But yeah,
I don't even.
This guy goes, I got a stack of those letters, says it publicly. It isn't like the UK, like very much like a surveillance state. This guy's fucked.
a proper tint system for characters and armors has been on the wish list for so long. It's one of those things where you can't work on everything all at once. And every time you do the priority call, there's some.
You need to pay attention because your car has a radio in it, bro. This is why we threw the T in the harbor. All right, this is why we threw the T in the harbor right there. Listen. Europe does a lot of cool things, and America does a lot of stupid things. But we were right on that shit.
Thing that just affects a few more people.
Free healthcare isn't cheap. Go figure. We don't need to get political, or because I know that's the direction it goes. I was just making a joke. Okay, so let's just chill out. I will repeat this because this will end up going on YouTube as well. I say this all the time in my Twitch stream. We'll start out with me. I am not mature enough to have those kind of conversations. I also know a lot of people in my chat, and we are not mature enough to have these kind of conversations. So anytime the conversation gets to where we are right here, I always nip it in the bud. I don't believe in having conversations about politics and things like that on the channel, simply because I don't think we're mature enough to have those conversations, and I certainly am not mature enough to have those conversations. I am just here to play video games. I just want to play video games. It doesn't fucking matter what I think about these things. I'm not here to change anyone's mind, and because I'm not educated enough to change anyone's mind. So I know a lot of people want streamers and idiots like myself to like share their political views, but why would you want us to influence other people's political views when we have no understanding of our own political views? It makes no sense, right? So I just avoid those things. So there you go. Before the YouTube comments go insane or the Twitch comments get a little crazy, that's my opinion on these things, and I'm sticking to it, and will forever stick to that. All right? There you go.
Or affects an actual gameplay element.
Yeah, we're here for
it's a little more important every time, but hopefully its time on the wheel will come someday, because I'm a big fan of Barbie dress-up. There might be a more appropriate term for it, but I've always called it, like, I spend so much time in every MMO I ever play just
You're here for the dog? She left.
Far more than I do in real life.
She's hanging out with my wife now.
You know, making sure that my character looks exactly how I want them to look, and stuff like that. So that has to extend from the armor to the weapons to the items, because it drives me crazy when I got a cool black and red thing. I got a gun that's black and red. I got the helmet black and red.
He's black and
I
red.
Pull out a bright yellow tool. I'm like, no. Let me color my tool. So
we have black and red.
you tell me, chat. Am I in the minority?
No.
Or am I the only one?
He is definitely
Drip
not in the minority.
Drown. There you go.
He is not in the
Drip or
minority.
drown.
That's all of us.
Are you planning to let players implement custom tags on cargo boxes for the inventory and tractor beam AR?
Yes.
Yes.
You'll be able to rename boxes, inventory
We already
boxes,
knew this.
cargo boxes, and so when you zap them with your tractor beam, it'll say the name of the box.
When's that coming, tomorrow?
I don't think it does, you know. No, I think tomorrow's the release date for that one.
Let me guess. Deck has to do all that too.
Hey, the crafting guide. This is a question. I didn't bring it up. The crafting guide has a short blurb on salvage updates for crafting. Can you give us more details?
Oh, this is cool.
So salvage consists
I don't know if I love it, but it's interesting.
of two different or like methods of how you get or you convert the ship debris that you found into material. So one side is RMC, and right now I don't think we have any recipes making use of RMC, but
We don't yet, no.
in the future patches we will have blueprints that actually will make use of RMC. So RMC will be already used as a craftable material there. On the other side, with the disintegration of or the construction material, I forgot the name because this name is killing me every time I am sitting.
They're your
in this
names,
chair.
right?
Huh?
They're your names.
Yeah, they are my
Rubble.
names. No. It's so the construction materials that you get from the disintegration process. Right now you get the construction material. That was never the intent. We always wanted to make the materials that you get from disintegrating the ship being based off what the ship is actually made of. So an example is if you find a Vendel ship, you get a Vendel material out of it. If you find the Gladios, you will get some GT alumnite, which is like the Aegis material from it.
This is where it's interesting. So like Biggs, just because he's editing Week in Review right now, and he was like, hey, you didn't include this, exactly what we're listening to right now in Week in Review. So if you watch Week in Review, I do call you out to watch this. So we'll kind of cover that here then instead. This is the only like interesting part here is exactly what he just said, is that there is a unique material that Aegis uses in their ship. Man, I had long conversations with Torsten of like, if you're gonna do this disintegration thing, do it like EVE Online does it, their salvage, because it's really cool. It's like kind of this RNG, but not really RNG, like random like little materials that come in, like triggers and circuit boards and the low level stuff is like broken or burned out circuit boards or broken triggers or shield things or whatever. But like obviously we have shield generators, so that part wouldn't work. And I think I'm not saying he took my idea or anything or watched Eve or did it anything like that, but I still prefer that way of like these salvage giving unique items, right? But in this case, it's a material. Like everything is a material. I don't know. Am I nitpicking right now? I feel like hearing myself, because I'm thinking out loud. That's what these React things are. I feel like I'm nitpicking a little bit, right? Where who cares if it's a material? So is the salvage material in EVE Online. Even though they're items, like they're each individual, there's like 19 different items and there's 2 tiers of them. It's the only thing you use those items for is for crafting. They're crafting materials. What the fuck is the difference, right? It's the same thing. But the point here is that Vandal ships give unique Vandal material. Aegis ships give a unique Aegis material. Drake ships are going to give duct tape, probably, right? So like that's the one takeaway that we can take from this conversation around salvage and crafting in the future. No idea when, but that they have within the what is it called? Structural salvage gameplay. It sounds like they're keeping RMC, but within the structural salvage gameplay, there's going to be these unique materials that are unique to each company, possibly.
So you get like these processed materials in a certain quality, which the ships were made of, and then you can process them and reutilize them for the crafting process. So like everything that we dismantle, the goal is that this also applies in the larger scale, which is the disintegration of ships. So that means that the material that you basically recycle from them have the quality that they were made with. You lose the amount or some amount of the material, but at least the materials that it was made of, you can repurpose them with the quality that you found them in.
Yeah, and just a note on those, the Vandal materials, those will be exclusive to this collection method, so to speak. So there'll be like a high value in
the other way you can get them.
Yep.
Now, then he says this. Now I'm not sure that this specific Aegis material is unique to Aegis. But maybe it's unique to crafting for Aegis. But you find it elsewhere. But the Vandal stuff, since we don't have access to Vandal star systems, we won't have access to the material, so the only way to get their stuff is to dismantle them. So it makes sense.
Kind of
Logically.
invade Vandal space just out of them. Yeah.
Well, not yet.
Spoilers.
Nice Milloway shirt. Thank you. Old heads might recognize this design. This design might look real familiar.
Oh, shit.
If you were in the project for years since
Around the verse.
2014 and the very first work I did for the company.
Never. I don't know what Milliways is.
Read a book.
I don't read books. What's Milliways, chat? I don't read books, but I recognize the logo.
Rude. But read a book. It's a really good book.
Oh, Hitchhiker's Guide? Yeah, I didn't read that.
Will blueprints drop at boss fights? Will blueprints drop from boss fights at some point?
We touched on
I
that
should read that
briefly.
one.
The pads would be
Data
great.
pads, yeah.
Yeah.
I think for 4.7 we did introduce, I might be throwing Elliot under the bus here. I think we introduced a couple missions for the Ormondi and the Apex Valakar. So there's boss fight-ish associated blueprints.
Nothing for the Valakar,
at the
right?
moment.
But yes,
But
for the
blueprints will be
Ormandi and its
the data pads
pain.
and blueprints will be the good use case there.
Yeah.
Associated with the missions that you can complete for boss fights, as well as the loot that you can collect around a boss fight. Yeah, we definitely plan on that.
Yeah.
The Apex Valakar is not in the game yet.
What's it called then? The Stormworm. I forget its like official lore name.
That
The Storm Valakar has Rayari turn-ins? Ah, okay.
that's the. What is the
irradiated.
The irradiated Valakar, yeah.
For what,
The
though?
Apex irradiated.
Anything good?
Yeah.
But the Apex Sand Valakar, still waiting.
That is a very good thing.
I was just talking to Brian Canary about it. Yesterday though, he's still so excited about it. It's coming
Prism?
along.
Oh, okay.
It is really cool. Like, we've changed up the fight a little bit.
I know we did this whole CitizenCon thing about it, and it's evolved so much since then. It's like,
Well, we got something together that was playable. We tested it, and it wasn't good enough, so we made some changes. So that's how you make a better game.
heaven forbid.
Do try.
Will we be able to dismantle?
I have no issue with what they just said there, by the way. They forget they called it Stormbreaker. No. So Davey Ryder, who's saying this in Twitch chat, Jared is clarifying that there is a difference between Stormbreaker and the irradiated Valakar, which is smaller than the Apex Valakar. The irradiated Valakar is like a stunted Apex because it was irradiated. It's not as big, not as epic, not as amazing as this epic Apex Valakar fight is meant to be.
High quality NPC gear for the high quality materials.
I briefly touched on it with the dismantling of ships. It also applies to armor pieces that you find on NPCs. So the goal is that if you find, like the average NPC will just run around with standard gear, right? But you will find like our so-called boss enemies or elites or however you want to call them, and they might be carrying like better armor or better weapons. And if you then change ownership of them towards you and you decide to dismantle them, we have them crafted in the background. So what you get from dismantling them is actually the higher quality material that they were supposed to be crafted with.
Anyone have a problem with this? I don't entirely have a problem with it. I think that's makes total sense. They should have better armor, better gear, right? Why wouldn't they? They're bosses. It's standard video games. The only thing I want to add here is what we talked about earlier is like these are the guys that should have that named item that drops that you don't want to dismantle, right? That's like kind of where I want to start inputting that thing here is like, hey, when I go to Secured Post Correa, whatever that boss Crusader guard has, like his armor needs to be like his chest piece probably should be like the chess piece. You know what I mean? Because that guy is a tank. Or like his weapon should be really good, or his helmet, or whatever you want to choose. But I do feel like they should drop a piece that is not something you want to dismantle, right? Like these are our crafting and inventory guys. They're going to talk about dismantling. They're going to talk about those kind of things. But I do hope there's somebody out there that's out there for the dungeon crawler people, right? I do hope they're out there for the mob farmer types, because those exist too, right? Crafting is very important. I love how much they're making crafting really important, but I don't want them to forget that combo of dropped loot versus crafted loot together is such just it's a chef's kiss with an MMO for me. I love that idea.
Yes, of course the radio show is better than the book. I mean, obviously. Except the book does get to fix a lot of things that were kind of problematic about the radio show. Like Trillian disappears for the entire second fit of the radio show. It's like this. But I've actually been, it's apropos of nothing, I've been secretly recording my own version of the radio show for like the last 3 months where I play all the characters for my daughter.
Hitchhikers?
Yeah. So basically,
Jared as a
when
kid?
it comes time to introduce her hitchhikers, it's actually me doing every voice.
First time he's ever mentioned that.
So she doesn't watch the show.
Congrats.
So nobody tell her. Are blueprints for non-combat stuff planned?
I know this is parasocial as fuck, but like he's mentioned a partner more recently a lot. I don't know. I know dating in my age, and Jared's a bit older than me, it's hard to find people without kids, right? So it could be stepdaughter.
Yes.
Yep. We've got the
When are
ship
you
components.
When are you going to be done, Deck?
To be fair, most of them are done.
Every time we speak to Deck, it is like, yeah, most of them are done.
Hey, most of them are done, and then we go into review, and then they're not done.
And then they are not done anymore.
Yeah.
Well, there's to be fair to you, there's also quite a few non-combat ones that we don't have planned yet because like it's a different process, especially when it comes to food and drink.
Correct. Yeah. There's
So food and drink
some
sounds further away.
combat stuff coming in, like the quantum drives, but like Rick says, there's a bunch more that we'll still add in.
I've been doing this show for better
One
part of a
worker,
decade,
three
a little more
reviewers,
than a
classic
decade.
game dev. Yeah.
And there has never been a piece of truth uttered more succinctly than, well, all of it's done.
Could be kept that stuff privy until recently. Yeah, I don't want to prod into his life anymore. I don't really care that much, and I don't think we should care that much. I find it weird when you prod into my life. I like sharing what I like sharing, and that's it. But yeah, we'll leave Jared alone from here.
And then it goes to review, and then it's not done. Like, that's game development. That's game development.
I just wanted to congratulate him.
Nobody else in that room did. Or those two people didn't, and you have to, you synthesize the opinions, and you go back and you try. It's just this constant iteration before you release, then after you release. You keep going with a live service game. It's just, lots of things are done until they get to review.
You do see the progress as you develop it. It's definitely worth it. So.
With the plan of gear degrading over time and only having a limited amount of repairs until it is no longer usable, how do you ensure this game does not become a maintenance simulator?
Oh, God.
And I'm going to go get a drink.
Yeah.
This guy 100% has minimum Idris Polaris Perseus. Minimum that. Not in an org. Has a dog. 4 kids. And posts on Reddit about how he doesn't have enough time to play the game.
Take your time.
So it's something that I think we brought up in different conversations several times at this point. So we talked about that when we talked about engineering. I think we talked about that even last time when I think Elliot and I were sitting here. So degradation is, or every system that we do is never meant to like annoy people. We want players to enjoy playing our game, and that also means that we have to be very like conscious about some decisions that we take. Degradation is one of those decisions where we are very conscious about that. If we
they're
do
gonna
it
have
wrong,
to nail it.
we can be very impactful in your everyday gaming life.
And I think they're applying here, like if we do it wrong, like we overdo it where stuff breaks too quickly. But there's also the other end of it. If it never breaks, it's not fun either, right? So this is something that I think, again, like when I was telling that one guy earlier in the episode to like just not be so hard on these guys, because I don't really think it's on them for you to be mad at. Dude, they're not going to nail it the first time. It's going to be shit, right?
What we do here is that we still want degradation to play a big part in our game, because it's a way of us having you exchange components, taking care of components, taking care of your equipment so that they degrade slower and the functionality is reduced in a slower rate than normally they would be. But we also want to make sure that there is a floating economy. And like in real life, at some point, the laptop that you own will not be as performant anymore as it is right now. So
too late.
Yeah.
It's thanks to capitalism, you want to buy a new one because
capitalism.
You need a faster PC. And we need a similar system in our game, because we need a thriving economy, and a thriving economy you get by people buying things. And in our case, one of the levers that we have there is actually the degradation, because it is like the degradation impacts the functionality. So the older your item gets, the less functionality it will have. We will give you opportunity to, as stated, to like if you treat it well, the functionality ratio will, or the degradation process is slower, so the functionality will remain longer. We will also give you ways to sometimes, in rare occasions, be able to restore some of the functionality of the item. We will make use, for example, of the craft.
Restore some of the functionality of an item
that you have, where you basically can repair that, which might be more sustainable for the component than putting your multi-tool onto it and repairing it. So it might be a good choice to use the crafting repair functionality over the hand tool repair.
Also, we don't currently have a crafting repair functionality, right? So that's like a new-ish thing that maybe we didn't know a lot about.
Repair functionality. But overall, at some point, everything has to go. and you have to replace. So because that.
See, this is the part of the conversation that I also want to punch my chair. So we laugh. Overall, things do need to break. Unless you bought it on the pledge store. It does lose functionality, to be fair. And there will be ways for you to get it back, apparently. So they're not mentioning the pledge store here. They act like it doesn't exist on these shows. They act like it doesn't get in the way of the game and completely fucking undermine all of the work that they do. But it's still there looming in the background, and they're all just sitting there with their grins on their face, and it really frustrates me. But again, it's not on these guys, but
and introduces you crafting new components, maybe even better components. So there's some interesting mechanics behind that. But there's also like the things, we are very, very aware that sometimes you have this one item that you don't want to lose. So we also want to make sure that we tailor towards those things that you will not lose it.
Right.
Like your spaceship that you bought on the website, like your gun that you bought on the website, like your armor that you bought on the website, like your backpack that you bought on the website, like your multi-tool that you bought on the website, like your dedicated tractor beam that you bought on the website, like your Atlas that you bought on the website. What else? What else do we even play for? So like that's the part where it's like I'm still very, very confused here.
You know, you do all that work to earn Ashbringer.
And then, like, you see, even Jared says a named thing. Like, we don't have named things yet. Well, we did, like Tweaker and Scorched. But yeah. So I am, instead of saying they're completely undermining everything, the game's going to be so bad, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, what happens when a pledge item dies? What happens when a pledge item dies? What happens when a pledge item that's upgraded dies? There's still some questions that need to be answered. We'll have to see.
Yeah, you don't want it to break.
Yes. And just to give a very, very concrete example, because we have been working on that actually for quite some time now.
Ashbringer?
Yes. Finally. No, it's the degradation cycle, because we have been like very vague with all the numbers, but it's more like we are talking about game sessions, and a concrete example, it's not signed off, it's just me giving you a sneak peek of what we have been discussing is, so we are talking for a power plant about a week, maybe 1 week and a half of usage, full usage. That means you have the time using it until it reaches zero functionality. So you basically have to replace it.
You say things like, I have to interject. Are you saying a week of game time or a week
that would be
of
like
real
a
life
month
time with you not logged
me
in?
playing.
No, it's play time. So you
8 hours a day.
actively using the component gradually, so it is not even, so the component is not resting, the component is not turned off, the component is on an average use case throughout a week and a half.
So more than 150 hours before you have to.
Yes.
Well,
so
let's not give exact numbers.
Yeah, that's my point. Yeah, that's my point.
But like the high level intent is that it's not something that you're going to have to deal with every play session. It's a long-term mechanic.
Yeah.
Seems reasonable. I don't know. And in the end, we have to go right back to what the very fuzzy dude here said earlier, is they're going to have to tweak that until they find a good balance. I think it's going to be, number one, yes, very hard to balance, like it's being said in the Twitch chat, but also I feel like that's a little bit too slow, personally. But we'll see. It depends on how much material is needed for that power plant. And yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see, because things need to be destroyed, and if things aren't being destroyed and we're finding stuff more often and crafting stuff more often than people are buying them, that's a very bad thing. Then you have no economy, right? So that's their job to balance that, and they'll have to tweak those numbers. And they seem to be aware of the fact that that is important, and them being aware is the most important thing, and then they just have to listen, hear us, iterate, don't have an ego, and just do what's best for the game, and then it'll be okay.
Ebon's Crux, first-time chatter, hey, welcome to the chat, said, just don't do it like this other game that I'm not going to slag off. I can't do more than 2 hours of gaming without repairing all my gear 20 times. I don't know how prone to hyperbole they are, but that's what you're talking about.
Exactly.
I remember.
And like I said, the number that I gave is just a very, very rough number. Example. It didn't go through any iterations yet. Yeah. But also, like, this is like the extreme, right? We are talking about 100% functionality versus 0% functionality. There are degradation bits in between that we hope actually increase like interesting games.
Remember, he said this design isn't signed off, it's just what he's currently working on. And again, it's one of those things, it's done, and then it goes to review. And then a bunch of people have voices and you make changes, then it goes to PTU.
Then it goes to us.
Then a bunch of people, give feedback.
And then we really fucking show how stupid they are sometimes.
It's changed, then it goes to live, and then even more people give feedback, and then it's a process. It continues to go, but I think we're keenly aware of it. I remember when we were.
If you're talking about Dune, babysitting your equipment in that game was a slog. Yeah, like I'm not saying every session something should die. I am still of the feeling that the amount of material in the game should be abundant. The crafters will craft. They add a little extra value, and the more layers that you can add on to crafting, the more value a crafter can add, which means the more margin they make and the more money they make. And then a player just dies and loses and replaces, and dies and loses and replaces, and everything in the game is ammo. I think that is like the best possible solution. I've said this before. If I magically became the richest man in the world, and Star Citizen had like an engine that was like actually usable, I would just build an Eve-like economy sim in a game that looks like Star Citizen. Like, I don't need the 10 million player battles in EVE Online. Like, that is, honestly, it's ass. I fucking hate everything about it. I'm involved in a war right now, and it's just not fun. I don't like it at all. But there are some aspects of the economy of that game that it's just so simple, yet so, because it's simple and they just add layers on it on top of that simplicity, it's just so good. They're taking it in a way where the quality aspect of things make it a little bit more complicated in a way that I enjoy less than the crafting that I enjoy in EVE. The abundance of material in EVE Online makes the loss of items so much less painful. And yeah.
We're about to introduce thirst and hunger and player, I can't think of the word right now, but everything, player injuries and stuff. And everybody was like, oh my God, I'm going to spend all my time drinking pips and dealing with hydration and stuff like this. And even if it is a bit overwhelming, we did deal with player injuries when it goes out, whatever
pain for a while.
That's what continual balance is for. That's what this process of running an open, a live environment in the middle of our development is for, so that we can get this data in real time. We have our ideas, then we can test them, and then we can have better ideas and change them. And that's, it's been proven out in the process. So I understand the knee-jerk reaction to degradation being this terrible, terrible thing, but I've known the people here for a long time now. I know what your intents are.
Anybody who thinks loss is a terrible thing in this game,
what drives you guys,
just wants to play a single player game.
Even if it's too severe, like that damn boom tube thing. That boom tube is ridiculous, Zach.
He will be watching.
You need to tune that thing. You need to bring it down.
I had a chat with him.
It's a little.
There he is.
There he is. He's in chat.
That's the thing, is it's literally not. It's like it's the only defense you have against a nose downer when you are outside of your ship. Yeah, like, again, the man who doesn't play the game saying what's out of balance. He read one meme on Reddit or something.
That boom tube is. But that's the process. You gotta see. Is this overpowered? I don't know. Let's put it in. Let's see. Oh.
You're throwing Chris under the bus.
Zach said Chris told him what, that it's to make it that powerful.
So like
in the chat.
So it's like we continue to tweak and twerk, and I don't twerk. Torsten twerks though.
No.
What? We got time for a couple more.
Twerk 17.
Is there a plan to provide high-level design briefs for major feature releases to help bridge the gap?
CR told him to nerf it? Fucking, okay.
Gap between initial implementation. As mentioned several times in the show, we did. Now, not as detailed as we used to. This person might be referring to the ye old days where we would write up this entire thing about what we did. We did a design brief on Mixmaster. We did a design brief on an entire game loop about how to make drinks for NPC passengers and keep them happy, whatever. And the reality of development is that so many things have changed since then. Systems have changed, people have changed, we've all grown, and it's just the likelihood that document is anything remotely accurate is, you don't need me to make a comment on it. You should be able to tell. So we moved away from full-on design briefs like that because all too often it just led to disappointment. Because again, we ended up changing it because we had to, because of some technical limitation, or changing it because somebody new joined the team and came up with a better idea. And it's like, well, no, we're not going to stick with the old idea if it's not as good. We want to do the new idea. But now we've changed. You didn't do what you said you were going to do and stuff, even though it's something we believe is better. So we did move away from those old, super detailed design briefs of yore, and that maybe that's what they're referring to. But we have made an effort for this last year to update things like the mining guide and the salvage guide and the crafting guide and the medical guide and the cargo guide and stuff like this, and make a lot of our intentions known, make a lot of our philosophies known, and give a glimpse at the future of where this feature is going, as like we did with medical and like we did with crafting lately. So engineering. Thank you.
Yeah.
So there is that effort. It won't be as detailed as it was back in old days.
We have those big new features that we want to explain to people as best we can, especially since we're going to be iterating on them, and we don't want to do in-game versions of those tutorials yet. We want to have those available for people.
Yeah. And then of course we do shows like this, where we talk to the designers and we explore their intentions and what their struggles are and stuff like that. I asked you how you were feeling about crafting. How are you feeling about inventory right now?
It's shit.
It's
be real. Sorry, you can be real.
yeah.
Didn't they mention the front end rework? Nobody asked for a front end rework of the inventory. We asked for an entire fucking rework of the inventory. Back end more important than front, and freight elevators too. By the way,
It has improved features. So proximity loot is very nice. You can take the 1SCU store all with you, and you can just hoover up the loot as you go. It needs to be snappy though. It needs to interact like quickly. It needs to be instant. So we're aware of that, and we are proud of the features that it's gone out with, and we are continuing to work on the interactivity and the responsiveness.
Yeah, it's nice to see an improvement to the inventory system. It's frustrating to see some of the things that we wanted to get fixed that didn't make it into the build. It's frustrating to see some of the performance limitations that we haven't been able to solve yet, but we're actively working on it. It'll continue to get better.
Anything in 4.8 you can point to might help?
That's a when question.
4 wide?
No, dude.
Yeah, true actually.
I'll tell you when 4.8 comes out. It comes out in the middle of May.
It sounded like will this feature be?
No. Is there something? Is there work in 4.8?
There is. So it can be quite hard to see the icons. So we are going from 5 across the top on a row to 4 across the top.
stack all work yet?
And
so did you make the icons bigger? Or?
Yes, just the whole thing scaled up as far as the inventory icon. And then not in 4.8, but related to that is we will have the support for widescreen, for dynamically sizing the inventory panels, and you'll have the option to scale up and down the icons yourself. Oh. And if you scale them all the way down, they just turn into a text list instead of a series of icons. It's just a text list.
Is the scaling in 4.8?
No.
Okay, that's why I had to ask.
Well, yeah, I said not for 4.8.
Okay,
widescreen.
I missed that part. I heard being able to scale.
That kind of sounds good.
Most of them probably heard that as well.
Okay, but in development.
Yeah, for 4.8 we went with the larger.
4.8 we get the larger.
Yeah, just to make it more visible, and then the scaling is coming.
Will the text be holographic?
Also, like, the improvements to like the actual rendering of those icons.
Right, you mentioned improving the lighting.
Yes.
Like that.
Will we be able to avoid the hologram? That is the question with this text thing.
What about the rotation? So some of them, I feel, go a little too fast to tell what they are.
Too fast?
I don't know.
So we have
I didn't even notice items rotate.
Icon within the inventory box.
Yeah.
And if they're broken, that's my fault because I set those up.
Okay.
So
maybe I'm just.
maybe they will be fixed. And there's a couple of changes.
Send Declan an email.
Maybe I'm just slow.
I did. Don't tell Ian this, but I put the undersuits. I put the undersuits the wrong way around, so they're facing arse front.
Two more questions.
That's funny.
Why aren't there any backpack blueprints?
Just didn't have time in 4.7. They'll be there in 4.8.
Oh, so those will be in 4.8.
Fuck yeah,
Yes.
let's go. Backpacks.
Some more non-combat.
Yeah, that's true. Backpack doesn't shoot.
and so what are the stats of backpacks?
Well, no, to be fair, they won't have stats.
Okay.
Okay, no
Eventually,
stats.
they would. Stuff like weight. But yeah, it's just nice to craft your own backpack, so we're adding that blueprint in.
Easy. Okay. Nice.
Okay. And last question, because I don't know the next time we're going to get to talk about this topic. What do you want to say to people? It's now been out there for a couple weeks now, about a month. I'm not. Nobody's ever looked at Jared and said he knows what day it is. What do you want to say to people about
no stats equals use for low quality mats? Yes, but again, that is not solving the root of the problem. The root of the problem is we should be using low quality gear on a day-to-day basis. And we should be losing it all the time and replacing it all the time. That is how you solve the problem, in my opinion. I think that is the best way. I am totally fine to be wrong and to be proven wrong, but I will say that this is one of the many hills that I die on is destruction equals production. And production makes the world go round. Okay? So sounds like total tedium. No, it's only total tedium if the system to replace it is tedious. You are absolutely correct in the current iteration of Star Citizen. So I'm not saying this should exist right now. The total iteration, the current iteration of Star Citizen, it would be totally tedious. It would be horrible because you have no access to be able to just like instantly buy something at a location, have it be in your inventory, and you just put it on kind of thing. There needs to be a lot of friction removed from the after death experience if they are to do that aspect of the game, right? And there's no reason not to remove that friction, in my opinion. So it's, yeah. WoW has zero destruction. It's the most successful MMO of all time. Shrug, LOL. I refuse to play WoW. I think it's a horrible fucking video game, and they have so many problems, and their community fucking hates them. And there's tons of issues with that game's design to constantly have to power creep, and everything that you did in previous iterations of WoW are non-existent when the next expansion comes out. So don't parade WoW in here like it's the best fucking thing since sliced bread, when it's absolutely not. I'm sorry. It just isn't. They're two totally different things. I think it's comparing apples to oranges in a lot of ways. But you aren't intentionally, you're not completely wrong, right? Because WoW is a successful MMO, and the most financially successful MMO, and the most player base successful MMO. But at the same time, if Star Citizen becomes WoW, that is the best way to get rid of me. CIG has been trying to get rid of me for a long time. If they go in that direction, they will lose me completely. I will happily leave. I will pick up my bag and walk out quietly. Well, I won't walk out very quietly, most likely, but I will not be very happy with that experience. I just don't like the power creep in games like that, and the seasonal nature of that game. I just prefer a game that every single day I'm doing something meaningful in the game, right? I don't like the seasonal nature of WoW. Very successful game, but too seasonal for me. And yeah, so that's my WoW rant for the day.
Crafting and inventory today.
I think we're very proud of it, and we love the feedback we receive. It's
doesn't mean it's not a good game. It's not the game for me.
And we'll continue to iterate, continue to build upon it. It's nice to see. It's a big feature. It's going to be a long running feature, so we're excited to have it out.
Get out there and try it if you haven't. Start playing it. Give it your feedback, because we're going to be working on it actively for quite a while, and there's a lot more features to come and a lot more iterations.
Do you believe him? I want to believe him. This is my insanity. I believe them every time they say it. He said he's going to be working on it actively. That means every patch, right? That's how I would take that. But they've let me down so many times that I struggle with this one.
To come, and I'm really excited about where it's going.
It made friends of mine play mining, even though they don't like mining. So it definitely had some attractiveness to people.
And see,
I told you, him and his friends go out mining. And these are the ones that don't like mining go out with his friends that do like mining. So again, Don't shoot the messenger here.
You touched on something, but it brought people who weren't going to try one game loop to try a game like, and that is how you make a successful MMO personally. You know, not just that alone, of course, but inviting people and making it encouraging to them to step outside their comfort zones and explore all the different aspects of a game or how games thrive and live. Like the ability.
Oh, I think his friends tried mining. I don't think his friends enjoyed mining. I can't see a world where people are enjoying mining that much right now. It is painful. But it's not the mining part; it's the scanning part.
I was thinking about this earlier, like all the ways blueprints. There are going to be people who just chase blueprints. The Pokemon players who are just like, oh no, you showed me a list of 350 things. I have to collect all 350 and whatever. And you can set these blueprints across missions for all manner of gameplay, and people can try medical for the first time if they've never done that. People can try salvage for the first time if they've never done that. I mean, it's systems like this are ones that truly touch every single aspect of the game. And if we do it right and we make it fun and it works.
Can we just play that again?
Done that. People can try salvage for the first time if they've never done that. I mean, it's systems like this are ones that truly touch every single aspect of the game. And if we do it right and we make it fun and it works.
3 things you have never fucking done in 14 fucking years, dude. Ever.
Yeah. Then
which is why he's looking at the camera.
It has to work. The opportunity there to bring players to more aspects of the game are just fantastic. Blueprints and crafting have been the most exciting feature aspect for me in a long time. Like, this is a big year for me. The biggest feature for me is crafting, and the biggest content for me is tactical strike groups. Waited for this thing. So the fact that we've started this,
they give a pretty big hint at tactical strike groups here.
Journey with crafting now.
Have you played it?
The fact that and the fact that I sit on the.
Have you played it yet? Listen to this answer.
Playthroughs. I sit on the playthroughs. Good. To say that I am a bad pilot is an understatement. I have peripheral neuropathy, and it twitches every once in a while and stuff like that. You know how people like blame their controllers? No, I blame my own hands and whatever. So I'm not good with anything that requires a lot of fine control, unfortunately. And flying through the trench run and racing the distortion and whatnot is, I'm like, nope, not. I'm happy to just watch.
Flying through the trench run, racing the distortion. See, I don't know anything about this.
I'm happy just watching.
I haven't tried 4.8 yet.
And relishing in the enjoyment of other people. So having that crafting journey start, in 4.7, having tactical strike groups start in 4.8. It's a really exciting time for the project. Have we gone live to PTU yet, or Ipocati?
Friday.
Have we told them the tactical strike groups is in 4.8?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, tactical strike groups is in 4.8. It's super cool. Get into PTU when that goes live.
It's been cool seeing people become better pilots just doing some of those runs.
Jared, why did you stop? You wanted to say a third thing about the battlecruiser? Did I want to say something about the battlecruiser? What more would I say that a portfolio update?
Oh God, who cares? God, like the fact. Oh my God, you're selling a picture of a spaceship and it's going to be like $3,000. Like,
already
who
done.
fucking cares?
All right.
You're going to sell it to a bunch of people who are going to use a bot to buy it and then resell it on a website for profit. Who fucking cares, man?
So that's it for Star Citizen Live. Torsten's looking at me; he has no idea. It's like, that's it for Star Citizen Live. Thanks for watching. There will be no show next week. No show next week.
No.
Yeah, no show next week. We're actually doing a pre-tape for some other stuff that we got to do, but we'll be back the week after.
Squadron 42.
After that, as we head into the most exciting time of the year, May, and our big ship showcase and
big
ship
showcase.
Big ship showcase. And that's what
you think it's just Invictus?
All right.
Invictus launch week?
I'm Jared. That's
maybe.
That's.
I think it's Squadron.
Rick, Declan, Torsten. See you later, everybody.
Guys, it's nearly fucking May. If they're not giving a release date, they're not releasing this year. Like, what are we doing?
Take care. Bye.
And also, he said the best time of the year was Invictus launch week, not CitizenCon, which is weird. But anyway, that was the show. A 2-hour plus react, 2 hours and 10 minutes. So I ranted a lot. I shared a lot. I did my own double the length of the show. But yeah, I really enjoyed the show. I think there was a lot of good information there, and a very important one. And most of it is, guys, we will listen to feedback and we will iterate. That is a big, very important part of it. So, guys, we're listening. We will iterate. These are like the things that we're like pretty steadfast focused on. But there's also the we're willing to budge. So fingers crossed there. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. And I'm back from vacation, so expect more content and more streams and a happier version of me, because I had somebody be lay it plainly, put me in my place when I was feeling down and angry about something, and it was good for me. So yeah. All right, guys, catch you later. Thanks for watching again. Appreciate it.